Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Beth and this is Beth's Bookish Reviews, and I'm here today to bring you my 26 books that I plan to read in 2026. Now I'm filming this early. This is October the 25th, but it's not going to go up until somewhere in November. Depends on where I post this. When I post this, what date I select it to go up. So I have two books that are not really, that I don't have yet. One is out, one will not come out until January. So I'm going to do those first, and they are listed first on my list. So the first one is, I'll put it up here, Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I have heard several of the booktubers that I watch talk about this, and I have been so intrigued by what they have said. I want to read this book. Okay, I have to wipe my glasses off. And I did not realize that Stephen Graham Jones was an Indigenous author either. And that makes me so happy. So I'm excited to read that one. And I'm excited to read all of these. I have taken books off, added books to it, rearranged them, taken books off, added other books, and because I have so many books that I'm already going to be reading because I'm doing my DIY literature degree. I'm also going to be reading the books that Books Love Jenna from Books Love Jenna puts on her book club list, and they're obviously not going to be what I've put aside to read. So I'll have to fit those in as well, and if anybody else does some readathons, so I'm just gonna have to make it work. And then I'll have to read Jane Eyre again next year in Eyre of September. Maybe not. I can read something else of hers. But anyway, without further ado, let's move on with this list. The one that's coming out in January, I believe it releases the 20th of January, is called A Box Full of Darkness. It is by Simone St. James. I know nothing about it. I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to read it because it's Simone St. James. I love her writing. And those two are scary books, and I'm here for it. Okay, so the next one I have on my list is Lonesome Dove. Now, I will probably not read this one until Sue Jackson has her big book summer readathon, because that's when she read it. And yes, now I'm also going to use the audiobook with it. I have it in Audible, and but that's what I want to do. I want to do a submersive read with it. I think that's what it's called, when you listen to it and read along. So, but I am so excited about this one. This is by Larry McMurtry, and several people have read this while they were taking part in the Big Book Summer Readathon. I believe she read it not this year during her readathon, but last year, the 2024 Big Book Summer. Okay, so the next one I'm going to tell you about is Greg Iles' The Quiet Game. This takes place in Natchez, Mississippi, and it has some racial tones in it. What is his name? Penn Cage. Yes, his wife passes away, and so he moves back home to Natchez, and he realizes that people are still prejudiced and racist, and he has to battle that. He's a lawyer, and he just doesn't understand that. His 4-year-old daughter is with him, and so I'm anxious to start this series. So yes, we're gonna see how that goes. The next one, I have been so ready to read this book. It is Eruption by Michael Crichton and James Patterson. So Michael Crichton had this planned out, and we know him from Jurassic Park and ER, Twister, and Westworld. So his wife found his notes and a partial manuscript, and so she searched for who best to complete it, and she found James Patterson. And so I just think that the creator of Alex Cross I love Alex Cross books. I haven't read James Patterson in a while, and this is about volcanoes. It's about Hawaii. So sorry if you can hear the shower. My mom is taking a shower in the bathroom that's connected to my room. So anyway, yes. So I'm excited. Next in my stack is, and you can also see a shirt laying back there that's never been worn, and my diamond painting drills. The next one I have is Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray. And this says it's an upper-class Regency world is a noisy and jostling commercial fairground predominantly driven by acquisitive greed and soulless materialism, in which the narrator himself plays a brilliantly versatile role as a serio-comic observer. That's all I'm going to read. I don't want to give anything away, but I just love this cover. Look at that bird. It's just so beautiful. This is a Wordsworth classic. So I'm looking forward to these books. I am so excited. I have never been so excited about classics as I have been. It started this year. Okay, the next one I have is Charlotte Bronte's Villette. Maybe I'll save this one for my Heir of September, but I'm going to be spinning a wheel for this. So, this is based on Charlotte Bronte's personal experience as a teacher in Brussels. Villette is a moving tale of repressed feelings and subjection to cruel circumstance and position, born with heroic fortitude. And I just finished her biography that was written by Elizabeth Gaskell. The girl that was doing her voice in the audiobook was just superb. I loved the little voice that she had. But this is another Wordsworth classic. Look at that cover. That is so beautiful. I just love Wordsworth classics. All right, the next one is a mystery. And I know there's stickers on some of these books. I'm sorry. So I've got P.D. James's Cover Her Face. And this is Headstrong and Beautiful, the young housemaid Sally Jupp is put rudely in her place, strangled in her bed behind a bolted door. Coolly brilliant policeman Adam Dalgleish of Scotland Yard must find her killer among a house full of suspects, most of whom had a very good reason to wish her ill. So I love me a good locked room mystery. I love me a good mystery anyway, but Adam Dalgleish is like superb. I've watched some shows with him. All right, and I watched a book review by Jenna from Books Love Jenna, and decided I probably needed to read this one. So I got it from Book of the Month. It is The Ministry of Time by Kalian Bradley. And the back says, a boy meets a girl, the past meets the future, a finger meets a trigger, the beginning meets the end. I know it's time travel. So, yes. I don't even know if I put that one on my, because that was a, yes, I did put it on there. All right. And so, recently, I decided that I really liked Stephen King's mystery books, so I want to read Never Flinch. I've had this for a year. Like, whenever he put it out, I got the I had them send it to me. Like, it's a new release, newer release. It was put out, well, in May. Yeah, I got it in May. So, almost a year. Well, half a year. And it's set over there in the corner. So, I kind of have to make myself read it. Okay, I'm going to go with the pile in the back. So, the next one I have is The Appeal by Janice Hallett. Now, this went around big on BookTube for a while. It says, 1 murder, 15 suspects. Can you uncover the truth? So I know there's a murder. Can you tell what I prefer to read? This one, you're gonna think, well, it's another Wordsworth. It is Middlemarch by George Eliot. And it's a complex tale of idealism, delusion, disillusion, profligacy, I don't know how you say that word, loyalty, and frustrated love. This penetrating analysis of the life of an English provincial town is set during the time of social unrest prior to the first Reform Bill of 1832. That's all I'm going to read. I just love these Wordsworth classics. Can't get enough of them. All right. The next one I have is Wilkie Collins' The Moonstone. And I read The Woman in White. I finally finished it and just loved it. And they say this is one of his best ones too. So, and it's supposed to be a mystery. I gotta get a drink. I'm talking a lot. This is 13 minutes long so far. Okay. So the next one is the start of a series. I believe it's the first one. I'm not real sure. And it has a sticker on it that I am now trying to get off. But it's the Will Robbie series. Will Robbie series. And it's David Baldacci's The Innocent. I really don't know if it's the first one or not. I just assumed it was. Maybe not. I don't know. I just want to read this one. So Will Robbie does something he's never done before. He takes I believe it's a teenage girl who runs away. She's a runaway. She's in a foster home and she runs away. And he thinks she's a cover-up to her parents' murder. So he thinks he should protect her. So I will go in and find out if this is the first one. And I will post it in my description below if this is not the first one and you don't want to read like in the middle of a series. By the way, if you are interested in reading any of these books with me, please feel free to drop me a comment down below and let me know, and let me also know what a good month is for you to read, whichever one you want to read with me. Alright, the next one I have is Lisa C's Lady Tan's Circle of Women, and this is about Tan Yunxian, who was born into an elite family haunted by death, separations, and loneliness. She's raised by her grandparents to be of use. Her grandmother is one of only a handful of female doctors in China, and she teaches Yunxian the pillars of Chinese medicine. So again, that's Lady Tan's Circle of Women. Okay, I want to save those back there for last with that one. Okay, the next one, do I still have this one on there? Yes. Napoleon the Great. This is the story of Napoleon Bonaparte and what went on. It is rather chunky, but I want to know. Inquiring minds need to know. This was a recommendation from Jenna, as you will see a lot of my books are. It is Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto by Tricia Hersey. And she says that rest, Tricia Hersey casts an illuminating light on our troubled relationship with rest and shows us how to imagine and dream our way to a future where rest is exalted. Our worth does not reside in how much we produce, especially not for a system that exploits and dehumanizes us. Rest in its simplest form becomes an act of resistance and a reclaiming of power because it asserts our most basic humanity. We are enough. It's raining. The systems cannot have us. Alright. The next one I have is Lucy Maud Montgomery's The Blue Castle. And this was first published in 1926. It is a heartwarming tale of courage, self-discovery, and love. Valency Sterling, a 29-year-old woman trapped by societal expectations and a domineering family, receives life-altering news that compels her to break free from her oppressive life. She escapes to the enchanting Blue Castle, a lakeside cottage, where she learns to embrace her authentic self, find love, and transform her life in ways she never thought possible. Alright, the next one is a Charles Dickens. I so wanted to read this year, and I kept putting it off and kept putting it off. So I want to read A Tale of Two Cities, and this is about a war, the French Revolution. The next one, and you'll notice I have quite a few nonfiction books on here, and that is because Books Love Jenna has helped me to embrace my nonfiction side. So, Midnight on the Potomac by Scott Ellsworth, and this is the last year of the Civil War, the Lincoln assassination, and the rebirth of America. Alright, look at these three over here, these three back here, which are chunkers too. Alright, I have The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House by Joanna Davidson Politano. And this is about a clever young woman, a contested will, and an estate that does not easily give up its secrets. I have a Catherine Center book, What You Wish For. I want to read These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. Alice Storm hasn't been welcome at her family's magnificent private island off the Rhode Island coast in 5 years. Not since she was cast out and built her life beyond the Storm name, influence, and untold billions. But the shocking death of her larger-than-life father changes everything. Alice plans to keep her head down, pay her final respects, such as they are, and leave the minute the funeral is over. Unfortunately, her father had other plans. The eccentric, manipulative patriarch left his family a final challenge, an inheritance game designed to upend their world. The rules are clear. Spend 1 week on the island, complete their assigned tasks, and receive an inheritance. But a whole week on Storm Island is no easy task for Alice. Every corner of the sprawling old house is bursting with chaos. Her older sister's secret love affair, her brother's unyielding arrogance, her younger sister's constant analysis of the vibes, her mother's cold judgment, and all under the stern, watchful gaze of Jack Dean, her father's intriguing and too handsome second in command. It will be a miracle if Alice manages to escape unscathed. Okay, down to the last 3. So, The Shadow of the Wind. The Shadow of the Wind. And this is about a gentleman who owns a bookstore. Yes. And he has a book called The Shadow of the Wind by Julian Carricks. And he is trying to find more books by that author, and he finds out that somebody is destroying them. And so he starts, he realizes he may have the last of that author's books. And so his quest has opened up an epic story of murder, madness, and doomed love. So, these last two are the 2 I'm looking forward to the most. Okay, first up we have Malice by John Gwynne. Even the brave will fall. Okay, the world is broken. It says Corbin wants nothing more than to be a warrior under King Brennan's rule, to protect and serve, but that day will come all too soon, and the price he pays will be in blood. Evnus has sacrificed too much, it seems, but what he wants, the power to rule, will soon be in his grasp, and nothing will stop him once he has started on his path. I hope I said will be in his grasp. Okay, Veridus is the newest member of the warband for the High Prince, Nethair. He is one of the most skilled swordsmen to come out of his homeland, yet he is always under the shadow of his older brother. Nethair has ideas and a lot of plans. Many of them don't involve his father, the High King Aquilus, nor does he agree with his father's idea to summon his fellow kings to council. The Banished Lands has a violent past where armies of men and giants clashed in battle. But now giants stir anew, stones weep blood, and there are sightings of giant worms. Those who can still read the signs see a threat far greater than the ancient wars. For if the Black Sun gains ascendancy, mankind's hopes and dreams will fall to dust, and it can never be made whole again. So, with that being my next to last book, you gotta be wondering, what's your 26th book, Beth? Well, it is none other than Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. The mists rule the night. The Lord Ruler owns the world. Once a hero arose to save the world. He failed. Ever since the world has been a wasteland of ash and mist, controlled by the immortal emperor known as the Lord Ruler. But hope survives. A new uprising is forming, one built around the ultimate caper, the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind, and the determination of an unlikely heroine, a street urchin who must learn to master The Power of a Mistborn. So, that is my 26 books I want to read in 2026. If you have seen one that you would like to buddy read with me, please feel free to drop me a line down below and tell me what the best month for you to read that book with me would be, and I will mark it down on my calendar and we will buddy read that book together. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more upcoming videos with me, just click that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.